We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Well, congratulations to both of you on the film. It's really entertaining, but it gives you lots to think about as well. And Bridget, I've got to say, you're very forceful in the film. You're also an awful lot taller than me, so I'm going to be really nice to you.
Don't cross her. Don't cross her. She will crush you like a bug.
Absolutely wouldn't.
She will hurt you. You will limp out of here.
I'm very docile.
But it's actually quite a significant film for both of you, because Bridget, this is your first leading role in a film. Jeremy, it's your first feature as a director. Yeah. You've both come to film from musical backgrounds. Yeah. So, Jeremy, how did you come across Bridget, and what was so great about her for the role?
It was very random. I was at home watching a TV show in the States called Inside Amy Schumer. Amy's a very big comedian, performer, and I loved her show. And it was I think it was the season finale, and just hanging out with my wife, watching it on the computer, and then this vision appears on my computer at Joe's Pub, which was really weird. It was like, it was like a comedy show, and suddenly they were in this, cabaret performance, and I was like, what is this? What's going on here? It was such a weird left turn, and then I see Ad Rock from the Beastie Boys is in this band, and here is this incredible woman that takes the stage, Bridget. And I think you did one of your monologues. Did you do a monologue before?
I'm not sure which
Titties?
one. Yeah, I do a monologue before.
And so before she sings this incredible and very smutty song, she did this monologue, and there was just something about that moment, just looking at her, what she was saying, the vibe. I was like, that's Barb. I'd been looking for Barb for a while.
She should be the mother. In my first movie.
Yeah, I just knew instantly. I just turned to my wife and I said, that's Barb. That's who I've been looking for.
Performers. Yeah.
Exactly. There was just I was like, I know this. I mean, I know a version of this woman. I spend a lot of time in bars. Listening to people pour their hearts out, either on the bar stool or at the karaoke microphone. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it was really like a love at first. I just knew instantly, and then it just took some time to convince Bridget to do it.
Why did you take so much convincing?
Because I consider myself a singer and not really an actor, and especially not a dramatic actor, and I just was terrified, and I like to self-sabotage whenever I possibly can. So, but luckily, there have been people along in my life that have helped me stop doing that, and Jeremy is definitely one of them.
I'm an enabler.
And Barb, as we've said, is such a huge character, and she's a massive influence on her daughter in good and indeed in bad ways. How much of yourself did you feel that you brought to the character?
I mean, a good deal of myself, like the parts that are like, sad and lonely and frustrated, and
you just mentioned self-destruct as well.
And self-destructive, I feel like Barb lashes out at everybody else for the pain that she can't take any responsibility for herself, and I definitely have done that before. It's not good, but but I can relate to somebody that does that.
Okay. And really, you are best known as a singer and a cabaret singer. So you're used to being on the stage rather than in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Now, your act is going to be a lot bigger on the stage. How much of a challenge was it to sort of scale it all down for that camera?
It's hard because my stage persona is so big, and this is so intimate that it's like it's a fast learning curve. You just sort of have to. It's way closer to Bridget the person than it is to Bridget the stage persona. But luckily, Jeremy's like a really great, clear director.
And Geremy mentioned about Amy Schumer, and obviously you've worked with her quite a bit because you were in Trainwreck as well. How much do you think she's influenced your work?
I think we influence each other actually a lot. We have really similar senses of humor, and the way that she's influenced my work is that she's always like, Bridget, you belong here, you deserve this. So she's given me a lot of confidence and helped me be a lot more self-assured in owning my place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a theme in the film about appearances and how we place too much emphasis on appearances. The way Patti is referred to as white precious. That struck me as actually being quite Amy Schumer as well. Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's it feels like somebody in their chat room like saying something horrible about somebody that's just being themselves, you know. Yeah, it definitely feels a little Amy.
And Geremy, your musical story is rather different to Bridget's because, of course, you fronted a rock band, you did music videos. But how did you get into film then?
It was a slow progression. You know, my big dream was always to be a musician, and then finally carved away at it, and it was like, oh, I'm a professional musician. I'm making records and touring, and this is the life. And then I realized this is not all that's cracked up to be. Talk about self-destruction. It was like, oh my God.
This is a running thing.
Yeah. So it was like, oh, I want so much more than this. And you know, we never really made it. We were always, you know, close, and then it just didn't work out. And so I was designing our album covers, and then I started working on our music videos, and I started getting more and more interested in the combination of music and image instead of just music and touring. And I've always been a visual person, and so that sort of led to, you know, I made a record, one of my band's records sounded more like film music than pop music, and I just started moving more towards telling stories through characters. And then that just led to, you know, years of trying to get gigs as a music video director, and then that started to happen, and then that led to trying to
evolved,
it just evolved. Yeah.
So where did this particular story and this particular character Patti come from?
I mean, the idea of Patti popped into my head when I was 23 and living in New Jersey and trying to be a musician. Hip hop was my first love, and I grew up around women like Barb and Patti. So there was she just felt right. She just felt like a combination of that really tough Jersey attitude and hip hop, which kind of work hand in hand. I mean, hip hop is like an underdog music. You know, rappers are just naturally, obviously, underdogs, and kind of find this inner power and combined with creativity to sort of brag about themselves to the world, or like put their stamp on the world. And so it just got mixed up, you know. It was about where I was from, people that I loved, music that I loved, and it just became like, it just started to grow from there.
So there's quite a lot of your own background and your own experiences actually.
Definitely.
In
sure.
film.
Yeah, definitely.
How much do you think there is of yourself in Patti?
There's a lot. I think, I mean, we went through very similar steps, and yeah, people ask, was it hard to write for a woman and stuff like that? And I said no, because I was just kind of writing how I was feeling at that time of my life. My mom pulled out it was a paper bag of old journals like a month ago from when I was Patti's age, and I just went through them, and they could have been pulled out of the film itself, which was really crazy. I was like, wow, Jesus, I really was.
So
yeah,
cool.
It was a very strange, thing to be like, this is very attached to Patti's story in a way that I've forgotten. Yeah.
And you've got two really amazing leading ladies in
Yes,
Bridget and
absolutely.
Danielle, who unfortunately isn't around today. And we've talked about how you met Bridget. How did you come across Danielle?
I got into this thing called the Sundance Directors Lab, which is it's an unbelievable workshop that Robert Redford set up in Utah. And they kind of mentor 8 films a year. And so you bring actors out there. And so I brought Bridget and I brought Danielle. And we found, one of my producers remembered Danielle from her first film called The East. She had a small role in it. I saw her, saw a photograph of her, and I said, that's Patti. That's who I've been waiting for, that face. I just like fell in love with that face, like instantly. She came to Utah. She's a brilliant, brilliant actress who's been training for years. You know, I think that's one thing about her that I find so remarkable. I mean, she takes multiple classes a week. She's like a real student of acting, and so she had this desire to become this character. I think she had trepidation too, and I just said, you're the one, and we spent 1.5 years, 2 years for her learning how to rap, learning a Jersey accent, learning how to kind of become this character.
Final question. Actually, it's not so much a question as a request, Bridget, because we've talked about your singing.
Yeah.
We hear your voice in the movie. Those who haven't seen the movie yet, could you possibly give us a little taster?
Like of Barb singing?
You singing, I don't mind.
I went to a party last Saturday night. I didn't get laid. I got in a fight. It ain't no big thing, but I know what I like. I know I like dancing with you. Yeah, you. Freda, kiss me once, kiss me twice.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bridget
you.
and Geremy.
Thanks, Freda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are what we British call a sport.
Oh, thanks.
Sport.
Good sport.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thanks,
And
Freda.
you too. Thank you very much.